Howdy, howdy, howdy. Trying to sort this shit out, hang on. Added more glue. So hopefully these headphones aren't broken now. But we will see. Put glue on here as well. I've not checked if it's glued into the right place yet, but we'll see. Alright, it's not glued in the right place. I can hear only audio on the left side. But what's up, Gavin? How you doing, bro? Welcome to the stream, big dog. We're gonna let this play out so you can have a listen to what the song sounds like before we do the mix down and mastering. And whilst that's happening, I'm gonna try to fix my headphones. So for a good mix down, this information should be relatively flat. And it's not bad, it's not far off. Too much information over here. Sorry, let me get that. My timer should be ticking away, but it's not right now. Let me see if I can fix that. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, okay, let me take a screenshot of the timer. I thought it was already ticking, but it's not, okay. Alright, let's see. Okay, there we go. We're getting there. Now, this, I've got to open and put that in. 292. Oh, how much fun this is. 17. 56. Set. And start. There we go. We missed a little bit of time, but that's okay. We missed 5 minutes because the stream's been streaming for 5 minutes. Yeah, that's not too bad. Alright, so we got this, we understand what we need to do. Everything should be fine, everything should be good. Got this. I'm contemplating whether or not we should cut out the highs. This song's not the best song, so we're probably not even going to release it, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't do the full practice, because we might just use it anyway. The reason I'm cutting out the extreme highs is so that these hi-hats can pierce through the mix a little better. Perfect. We'll give the high end, the extreme high end, a little bit of a shimmer here. And whilst that's happening, we're going to cut out the extreme high end of everything else so that these hi-hats can pierce through the mix a bit better. Okay, I think that's pretty decent, and we could definitely make these hi-hats significantly louder. They are much too quiet. Much too quiet. Much too quiet. And then again, yeah, I mean, this one shouldn't be that quiet, because these ones, sure, because it's layered. We've got it sidechain compressed underneath the kick and snare, and we can see this is the triggering, the kick and then snare, snare, snare. And so if it's here, yeah, it's going to be a little quiet. If it's here, yeah, it's going to be a little quiet. But this one, there's no reason for this one to be quiet, but it is. So that's hi-hat number 1, that's hi-hat number 3, and I think we just use those 2, don't we? Yeah, cool. Okay, yeah, we're going to need to be pumping up the volume of these hi-hats, no doubt. Let's see if there's anything else that needs cleaning up. I mean, this sub was too loud. We're getting a little bit of high end here, and that's why. Let's try that. But if I take this away, you can see it a bit better. By doing that, we remove it. That gives a lot of high end if it's clicking in the beginning. The more soft we do it, the more just pure sub bass we get. It's just the attack of the kick, the attack of the sub that's causing that. We're still getting a decent pumping feeling. There we go. The reason that probably works so well is because this is being sidechained underneath the kick and snare again, and you can see that the snare is going bang, 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 and that's exactly where the kick's going, the bass, sorry. And then over here, we've got snare, and then space, and the bass is going snare, and then it's fine. And so when it's layering with the kick and snare, it's going to have some higher energy stuff, especially in the beginning, just from the extreme compression. So we're going to try to limit that if we can, is all. Let's hear what this is. That's good. Okay, cool. So we've got kick layers, and I'm hoping that this kick is... It's not. These are... That's such a cool sound. I love that sound so much. I hate these headphones so much, because I can only hear it in one ear every now and then. It just keeps flicking over. It makes mix downs a little more difficult, but it doesn't need to be super easy. What I would like to do is just check that there is no sub information going on anywhere. We've got a sub bass here that I've turned off. There should be completely no sub. Yeah, so let's just check. Yeah, there's nothing going on. There's a little, you know, but what can you do, eh? We could just, yeah, I mean, we've already got that. It's because we got a clipper after, and so that's going to sort of do that sort of thing. So if we were to remove that, we're just observing how the frequencies look on this synth here. Right, which I don't think there's anything on the group there isn't good. We can see that there is information here. Yeah, it's not much, but there is a little bit of sub information there. If I turn off the K clipper, there is nothing. There is right at the beginning, actually. I think that's just a cliff in, but there we go. Yeah. There we go, yeah. But then once you do the clipper, it kind of enhances it all. It allows it to spill over. It's looking for extra frequencies where it can really push it, but I think it's fine. A little bit of overlap, who cares? Thankfully, not me. Okay, what is this introi? Okay, introi is this synth. This. That's just ducking under the kick and snare. That's why it's sounding glitchy like this. But with the kick and snare, it makes sense. I worry that this kick might not even be the right fucking note. What note is this kick? Can't even fucking tell. I think it should be +2, which is kind of annoying because I've got it everywhere. Yeah, this says it's F, which, I mean, chances are, knowing me, this whole song is in key of E. Yeah, this is just E notes, just pure E's. And so for that bass to be F, that's pretty effed up, yeah. A little bit of fun there, but yeah, no, it is. It's pretty fucked up. So we're going to just grab all of these. In fact, we're going to just grab this and bring that, turn that off. Then we're going to grab all of these. I'm going to open that up, and we'll grab all of these. Good. We're going to turn on warp, and we're going to bring that down. I mean, -1 didn't sound right, but +2 did. So if it was F and we go +2, we're going to G, which G also works with E, but I would have thought E works even better, but I guess not. Yeah, E is just not that cash money. Let's try G. Let's try F sharp, question mark. No, let's just stick with E. there isn't any layers here. Yeah, there aren't any layers. I mean, maybe this is layered. Nope. This is also not layered. Yeah, there's no layers, so it doesn't really matter too much anything. Yeah, so the mixdown's pretty straightforward because it's just notes at a time. Preverb violin, let's check that out. Okay, that's the only thing there. Alright, I think we're good. What's this violin stab? I've not actually explored that. Let's make sure that that is E. That's E, baby. That's E. That's B, which I think... I mean, I know B is in the key of E, but I think that's E minor. Let's have a look. Let's have a think about this. Bang, bang. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Yeah, it is. Cool. Cool, very cool. And then we've got and D, 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 D sharp, E. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, of course. Okay, whatever. All right. Okay. Cool. Maybe we get F sharp. So G? Yes, G as well for E minor, or G sharp for E major, which, by the way, is nuts. that's so nuts. Alright, enough thinking about, hey, why? These are all kick layers? They fucking well are as well. Okay, whatever. We're going to use this beautiful span and just turn off everything else. Everything else is pretty much covered anyway. So let's just go ahead. We're going to turn off the hi-hats and turn off the snares. We're going to get started with the kick. We're going to choose a line where we want it all to sort of meet up at. And that's what we'll be doing. Let's loop just this. We're going to remove other things in that layer just so that it's a little more clean. Got no bass there, good. So we can treat this line as the sort of line that we want to bring everything to. Why not? Why not, eh? So that means that we need to bring this volume down slightly. Just a smidgen. There we go, so now it's just touching the very tip right there. You can see that the peak here isn't actually 100 Hz-ish down here. It's very low heavy. I mean, this would make it seem, yeah, even this shows that it's low heavy. Very interesting. But we're not here trying to change that because it might sound okay. Next, we're going to get that wobble involved. Now, that wobble is over here. Again, we're trying to get it to this 30 line, so let's just bring that volume up. Bring it down. There we go, so it's just touching that line. That's what we want. Just touching that line. Hey, this says this is F. It was F sharp, but now it's F. If we bring it down again, maybe it'll be E. Let's test that out then. Going to grab all of that, loop all of that, turn on the snare, turn on the hi-hats, turn on the perk, turn on the duck, grab all of these. Well, let's open that first and grab all of these. Okay, I think that works, to be fair. If I solo this. That's peaking there. Yeah, this is F. We need it to go down one. Again, just to kicks this time. So where it was, if this is F, -2 is F, that means -1 is F sharp. And then where it was before was G. Doesn't feel right though. Let's test that out. I mean, sure, this says here, but let's have a listen to it in context. Sure, go on then. Okay, let's just carry on then. So we're going to turn off everything again so that we can hear just this individual element. We want it underneath that. You can see that is slightly too much. Bring it down. Bring it up. About there. So it's just reaching that line. That's what we want. And now we're going to zoom the fuck in because we want to be looping this bad boy. We don't really need to loop it, to be honest. We just need to start it there. And right here, we want it. Was it 36 or 30? I thought it was 30, but maybe it is the 36th line. Shit then. Shit then indeed. God damn. God damn, I need to fucking understand the shit. Hang on. Okay, 36th line is what we're doing now. Okay, sure. Which means this is too loud now. Bring it down. Just there. Speaking of F still. It really doesn't matter where I move. Oh no, there we go. E. Just about E. Okay, cool. Next up we're going to do the violin stab, which is over here. Which is all the way down here. Very quiet. Very quiet. Let's bring that real loud. That's truly the loudest we can even make it. Because this is at 6. We could add some distortion, we could add the compressor, we could add something onto that to really boost it if we wanted to, but we wanted to get it up here, right there, and it's just down there. Which might be fine. Because I want this to be a flavor, not something as brutally loud as it is being right now. Though, we can just enhance this. Let's just chuck on 6 decibels there. Let's do the full 12, fuck it. Because we can bring this volume down. So we can see now it is going way over this line, so we can just bring it down. There we go. Now this is the absolute maximum that we wanted, but mixdown is all about not just as loud as we can, but where it sounds good. So we can always reduce that later. And then we've got this. We're going to need to make that much louder because we want to be bringing it up to here, which it still hasn't reached. Let's see if we can get something louder in here. So we've actually got this, so we can just put on 12 decibels there. That's going to be brutally loud. So we can see just how much it is, and just bring that down. There we go. We're looking at this peak because this is the biggest peak, and now we've got this. Cool. There is a little input here where there's no sounds. That's just so that it doesn't clash with the kick, and we can really make the kick as fucking loud and powerful as humanly possible. And we can adjust that at a later stage. Now, I'm going to assume that the layers of these snares are in perfect order. They are, actually. And we've got a saturator on the whole thing, and so we kind of have to treat it as one. So we're just going to just fuck with this. Whereas with the kick, we've got nothing on the entire group. But on the snare, we absolutely do. So I'm going to close the kick layer now. Actually, we'll leave it open because I do need to remember to fuck with this violin step, but everything else, and the preverb violin, but otherwise everything else we can leave it. So we can see a massive peak here. I'm not too fussed about that because whatever, you know what I mean? What I'm more concerned about is the rest of the peaks here. So we're going to bring this until the rest of the peaks reach here, which it already is very, very close, but it's not quite there yet. A little less now. Yeah, it's reaching it on the last one. This right there. This should ideally be the biggest peak, but it's not, so whatever. Alright, probably happy with the snares, and now the hi-hats. Let's assume that the ratio of these hi-hats are fine because we've got stuff on top of everything, though it is just sidechain compression, reverb, and EQ, which means we can still adjust the individuals individually. So maybe we go ahead and do that then. Right? If there was some sort of saturation or some sort of compressor on all of it that's enhancing the volume or decreasing the volume of everything together, then we would need to do adjustments to the entire group. But because there isn't anything, we've got a sidechain compressor, but that's just bringing everything down whenever the kick and the snare hits. So that's very different. So we can just do the individuals, and so that's what we're going to do. Oh, let me fix my headphones again. Just break the wire to make it work again. Okay, so this is the frequencies we're looking at. We can see there's a lot of high end, which is really, really good. I think it's well balanced. This is exactly what I want, but we need this to be way up here, so let's move that up. Dial it down, dial it up. That's the absolute limit. 4.8 is ridiculous. And now we're going to do the same with the hi-hats, but it does make sense because look, there's a lot of headroom on this file here, so you can see that even though it's at 4.8, it's not clipping. Yeah. All right, so now we're going to do the hi-hats. You can see these hi-hats are really quite quiet as well. We're going to need to pump that up quite a lot. But I know that this is the loudest hi-hat because this is being ducked underneath the snare, this is being ducked underneath the kick. This might be still having some sort of effects of the snare attacks, the snare hits as well. So it might be ducking, but this one is not ducking in any way. So this is the one that we're going to be using. And we can see that this is actually already slightly peaking over what we want. So we're just going to dial it down just a smidgen. About there is good, because now we're just touching the absolute limit that we can reach. We could probably pump that up even more, actually, but no. Right there, yeah, we're piercing over every now and then, so I think it's perfect. Next up, we've got the perk, which has got 2 separate layers. No, there's nothing in the delay section, right? Is there really nothing in the delay section? Okay, there. No, we've got some stuff in the delay section. So let's see if there's any. We've got a sidechain compression, and that's it. So once again, we'll be treating each element separately. So let's just go ahead and zoom the fuck in. The freeze section, we're not doing anything with. We're just going to be fucking with just the individual. So let's solo this, have a listen, and check out what frequencies are being used. We've got crazy high frequencies, and I think because we've got these individual elements, and that is what our ears are listening to. That's what we're going to need to be adjusting. Not this noise down here, but these big peaks. So that means that this is way too loud because we want it to be here, yeah? My ears can't hear this peak anyway. This is way too high for my ears, 18K. But I can probably hear this 13.5K. So, in context, we can see it's way too high. We just bring it down, bring it down, bring it down, bring it down. And what I'm going to do is just bring it down so that this one is reaching 36. This one doesn't matter to me. The reason that one doesn't matter to me is because I can't fucking hear it, right? And if I literally just cut out that, then it really doesn't matter at all. There we go, I've cut it out now. It doesn't even exist anymore. There we go. So now we're just dealing with this peak, which is still slightly over. We can reduce that volume just a smidgen, but I still want it to have the effect that it's having. And this is the part that our ears are going to be most hearing anyway, not up here. So it's not too much of an issue, just with the way that our ears work. All right, then we've just got to try to find when it happens again. So we've got this little bit of glitchy, which is very, very quiet. So we're going to do it over here. Now the problem is we've got a lot of delay on that, which means I can't just keep looping it because it's just going to double up, double up, double up in volume. Okay, so it is pretty much the same sort of thing. So no harm in putting this on there as well. Cut out the extreme highs. But we can bring this much louder for some reason. Okay, bring it down, bring it down, bring it down, bring it down, bring it down. There we go. I wonder why this hi-hat is much quieter. Actually, I don't wonder it at all. I know why this hi-hat is much quieter. It's because it's a different hi-hat altogether. This one is quieter than this one. It's two different hi-hats. Okay, cool. So hi-hats are done. We're happy with the hi-hats anyway. The percussion is done. We're happy with the percussion. So now we're moving on to the duck. Now there's a lot of stuff going on in the duck. And just for ease, I'm going to turn it all off so that our ears can focus on one thing at a time. It might be a good idea to start with the sub, to be honest with you. Normally I don't, but it does make sense to start with the sub. What's in this intro? Oh, it's literally just a single fucking channel. I don't know why it needs to be so big, and it doesn't even need to exist. There we go. We'll turn on the duck. We've got -5 on the duck. We've got -5 on the drums as well. And so we're going to start with literally just this sub bass. So we can see we're looking for 36 over here. And it is very close, but it's not quite hitting. Let's bring that up a bit. Bring that down a bit. On the last hit, it does peak up a little bit more than the rest. Why that is, I'm not actually sure. But it's fine. We've got it now. So let's move on to the effects. See what effects we've got. It looks like they're all the same effects, which is good. It's just the zip. Very nice. And we can pump that up. That's this frequency here. We know that because when we solo it, that's the loudest frequency that there is. So we can just pump it up because we're trying to reach 36. Down a bit, just about there is fine. And we've got everything in the same sort of volume as the kick now, which is really, really interesting. So next up, we've got the intro. And this, ideally, you want to find where the loudest part of the song is. So we're going to need to start it from the beginning and sort of just watch it as it progresses. So it's not here, but it could be that one. It is slowly getting louder. We've got up to here now, which is now the loudest part. Okay, yeah, I mean, yeah, call it the end here. just pretend like that's the loudest part, and we can just adjust it according to that. So we're looking for here 36. I really like that sound, to be honest with you. I could absolutely make a dubstep drop out of just that. It reminds me of Ninjas by, I think it's GRM or GRYM. Yeah, GRYM. Grim. Such a good song. Anyway, we're going to adjust this, bring it up. Bring it up slightly more. About there is fine because it's teetering on the absolute limit now. And it's in line with the hi-hat, so that should work. And there's nothing else playing during this time, so in theory we can be able to listen to this, and this will give a better example of what the actual song will sound like. I think that's a good volume. Very nice. We could probably decrease this because we've actually got it already at the absolute maximum that we can get it to. We could almost definitely decrease that at a later stage. So now we're going to bring in this motherfucking rutter. We've got nothing on the group, it's just the individual K-clipper. We could do it on the group, we could do it on the individual, it really does not matter. Though, if we look here, let's see where the peaks are. We've got some information up here that's probably erosion. We do have the biggest peaks over here, but not over here. What I was thinking is that this EQ here might be causing a little bit of a peak here, but it's not. It's actually fine. The most information is still over there, so that's the information that we're going to be focusing on over here. Yeah, not over here because that's still not going too high, but this is going too high, so we're just going to decrease that volume. But in context, bring it down. There we go. Very good. And then we move on to Scrutal, which I would assume is the same thing. Yeah, so we've got nothing on the group here, but we do have things on the individual. And let's just make sure that there is... Well, let's turn it on first. Yeah, all the information, there's not much build-up going on over here, though it wouldn't hurt if I did move this a little bit, just so that we don't have... It's not layered, actually. It shouldn't matter. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, it's mainly here and here. Yeah, we could and we sort of should take out the extreme high end. Not that it matters too much because it's getting taken out over here anyway. Yeah, so we don't need to worry too much about that. But it is nice to take that away just for safety a lot of the time. If we take out the extreme high end, we can push the sounds more, because there's more space for the frequencies to use up. Okay. So if I solo it, you can see that these peaks, this is the stuff that we're focusing our ears on. Unfortunately, it is going way above what we want it to be. I would love to be using this information instead and bring this really fucking loud, but this is, yeah, it's way too loud, unfortunately, so I'm going to need to decrease it. Bring it down, bring it down. Bring it down. Yeah, about there. Unfortunately. I really wish I could pump it up louder, but that's it. We can always adjust things later on if we feel like it's too quiet or whatever. I feel like that might be too quiet, but we can always just check it later on, like I said. Next up, we've got this whir sound. Sure. And this is actually arguably perfect volume right now, already, as is, at 0. We'll just decrease it just a smidgen, just for safety. And in context. Yeah, nothing else is playing with it, so it's completely fine. Yeah, about there is the absolute limit we can go. And then finally, we're on the violin melody section. So I'm going to start with violins, etc., which is over here. And we've got the loudest part over here, but I would assume we've got a compressor on here. We don't, but we've got a saturator, which does the same thing that we would need a compressor to be doing anyway. Right, and that is to flatten out the sound. A saturator is going to be bringing up the quieter parts anyway, and so everything's going to be probably... So I need to find out which part is the loudest part. So let's just solo it. So it's about here, and it's about here. Yeah, so we just want to get it underneath 36, so let's turn it on in context. There's literally everything else playing right now, but nothing else is playing because this is playing on its own. So we'll just move it up, and we'll try to get it to where we want it. There we go, because I'm watching this peak as well, which kind of peaks up near the ends there. But that way, hopefully everything stays underneath that line. There we go, perfect. Next up, we've got the preverb, which is very, very, very quiet. But it sounds like we've got some sort of boosting on. No, we don't. No, nothing. Truly nothing. Let's just put fucking 12 on this fuck, and then we can just reduce volume from that. So we can see this with 12 just about reaches it, but we do have clipping here. We can tell because we've got redness, and we've got redness here as well, which is very interesting because it's not quite reaching, but that's more due to the speed it's taken to reach where we want. Yeah, this is great, but I don't like how it's just staying there. Okay, there we go. I mean, that's staying there. But what can you do, eh? See, I want it to be maximum, not just average. That's nice. Real-time maximum. And then we don't need the second one. There we go. That's lovely. And that's giving us an accurate reading, because the other one was an average. Alright, so that kind of does mean that we need to start again, because we're changing that. But what we'll do instead is we'll keep this for now on RT average, and then we're going to bring it down. I mean, this is clearly too loud. And now let's move on to the intro, whatever the fuck that is. Here it is. Let's check if we've got some sort of compression or anything on this. No, we've got no compression. So we can go over here. And we can see where it's sort of peaking. And we could probably leave it as is. It's kind of reaching where we want it to be reaching. It might be slightly over in some areas. We'll bring it down by 1.4 decibels. Yeah, we're fine. It gets quiet near the end anyway. Here it's just quite wide. There we go. Alright, so this is decent. So everything is boosted to where we want it to be now. But let's now test it again, but with RT Max. Now this is something I've not done before, so I am quite excited to try this out. For sure, I'm quite excited to try it out. Okay. I mean, the frequencies don't sound bad, to be honest with you. Let's test over here. You see how it's all relatively flat now? That's exactly what we want it to be. Nice. Yeah, look how flat that is. That's good. That's what we want. But you can see we could probably get some more information over here. The mud area. Which means we could increase this rudder. Oops, wrong one. So we're peaking a little over here, that's where we want the kick to be over anyway, that's fine. And this information here is where we're looking at with this. We can pump that up. Wrong fucking one again, there we go. There we go. Just about reaching as close as possible. Okay, this is good. This is good. And I'm glad that I figured out that. But what that does mean is that that's something that I need to fix. I'm going to fix that right now. So before I do that, let's do collect all and save. Save it. And we're going to do command new. And then we're going to go over here, open span, open this. I'm going to bring this to RT max. Bring this average time down to like 270-ish. August 270. And then that's it. That's it. Well, I need to make sure that this is slope as 3, but yeah, there we go. And now this is going to be the new default set. Enter. Okay, saved. Bang. Everybody is happy. Okay. Now let's get back into this. Okay. Okay, let's assume the mixdown's done, but let's just double check. Okay, the kick feels weak as fuck now, and we could definitely make this section a little quieter. think we're good. Yeah, we're good. Again. Okay. So, we're going to start with something that I normally don't start with, and that's neutron 4 elements. That's just to check if we can help with the mix down a little bit here. But let's explore. We're going to do it from here. It's just mix down, finishing touches sort of thing. But if the mix down's good, you don't need it. Right? And I think this mix down is good, but it's a little bit of fun. A little bit of fun. It's something that I've not tried yet. So we're going to press play, start listening, see what happens. So this is the fix that it thinks it needs, which I don't know if I agree, but we're just going to increase or decrease to find where we want it to be. So this is before, and then this is after. Yeah, it flattens out the high end, it's not the nicest. Okay, and we're going to fuck with the punch, fuck with the attack, sustain, and all that sort of shit. Without? With. It makes it a little weaker, but that kick has got more punch, and even if it's a little weaker, we can always just push it forward. And we've got distortion here. I cannot hear a difference at all, so might as well just not have it on. There's lots of different types of distortions that we could be fucking with, but yeah, we could try it on. I don't know if it's better or worse with this thing on. Either way, let's turn it off for now, and let's try to find the loudest part of the song. The easiest way that I know how to do it is by going to AU V2 Apple, and we go to AU round trip. And we're just going to bring this here. We'll put it in the beginning of the chain, but notice how nothing else is on in the chain anyway, so it's fine. I'm going to drop down show details. We're going to listen to the whole song and find which part is the loudest part of the song. It's probably not going to be the beginning. It really shouldn't be the beginning, but let's do it anyway. So wherever the loudest part is where I'm just going to loop for the rest of the mastering process. We could already see we're already quite loud. 2.9 is ridiculous. Okay, this is now the loudest. Damn, no changes. This is literally just the loudest part of the song. Alright, we're going to loop that then. Because I can't be bothered to listen to the whole thing. But I do notice that these effects are too quiet. Yeah, this shit is too quiet. If we check out this, we can see that. With everything else going up to here, minus 24. Yeah, pretty much. Whereas these two, yeah, it is reaching minus 24. It's just in a section that you can't really perceive. They're very quiet, man. Alright, fuck it. It'll probably get pushed up when we sort of continue with the mastering process. Alright, so we've got the round trip sorted. Let's do the neutron. It enhances it just a smidgen. Alright, so now we're going to do only 0.3 decibels of gain reduction. Need more. That there is fine. There we go, we're getting 0.32, 0.29, 0.32. Yeah, that's good. We leave this on. Let's see if we want the high end boosted. We don't need the high end boosted for this one, which is interesting. Normally we do, but this one we don't. So without. With. Doesn't do too much. It doesn't do too much just yet, but it will be. We're going to fuck with the threshold until the compressor is doing -3 gain reduction. So that's too much. Make less. Looks like it's the snare that's peaking most, which does make sense, but the snare is something that we can really get a lot of distortion in, so it doesn't matter too much. We can really push the snare quite a lot. Though if we did decrease the volume of the snare right now, we'd have reduction on the rest of the track, which could be helpful as well, but it's fine, don't worry. Bastos. This is what it does. I'm just going to find a good point. without. With. This is what it's taking away. This is the frequencies that it's taking away. Very cool. Alright, and now horn it. All the way up. And then bring it down to where we want it. Cool. Okay, clip 0, we're just going to push this as much as we can. I don't think we're going to be able to push it much. I mean, there is already pushing its limit, so we'll just leave it there, 1.3. And then we're going to do 0.3 gain reduction again, probably up here. Alright. Okay, there we go, that's probably about good. Yeah, 0.3, there we go. And the reason that now it's the kick that's doing the most, rather than the snare. Very interesting. We're going to chuck on Unity, put on mono, just to make sure everything sounds okay. We're going to get this bad boy in before everything, put that onto mono, so that we don't need to use this as mono, so that we can toggle mono on and off for the wideness of the end. We're going to start with this stuff, then we're going to go this stuff in that exact order. So we're going to turn up thick, see where we want it. The thick is not bad, it really gives a lot of warmth to it, because we already know that there isn't too much information, too much energy in that sort of 200 to 500 hertz area, and that's exactly where this thick is fucking pushing out. And clean will be cleaning up that exact same area, so we've got to be careful with this. Smooth is so helpful here. This is just compression on the whole thing, not multi-band compression. It's just nice. Don't want too much of that. I've got it on 2 times anyway, so it's still like 20% or some shit. Tape saturation, warm on the right, tight bass on the left. having that warm bass is quite nice on this. And now we're going to fuck with the lows and the highs and the loud and try to get it as loud as we can absolutely fucking possibly get it. We've got Unity on, so it's not going to actually pierce our ears, but already we're actually at 0. So I don't know how much louder we're going to be able to get it. We can hear right now this is obviously way too loud. We need the mono there. This is a decent mix sound, we can really push this. Yeah, I mean the bass is distorting heavily, but it's a nice feeling. Alright, cool. We're going to turn off mono so that we can fuck with the wideness now. It's already got really good wideness. I'm not sure if I need to do anything here. Let's do bass mono here, because there's issues. Okay, cool, and in theory we turn off Unity, everybody's happy, it's going to be loud as fuck. Alright, let's have a listen to it in context. That hi-hat is piercing, huh? We can up that in context. Yeah, we're getting crazy distortion here. I think it should be fine if I just increase the release here. I'll give it a go. Bring it back down. Yeah. Okay, that's fine, but where the snare is, weirdly enough, we don't need that happening. So we'll try that. Okay, I think that's fine. Cool, there we go. Done. It's quite a heavy song, to be honest with you. Melodramatic for sure. Collect all and save, and we'll call it a day. There we go. Bada bing, bada boom. And yeah, we could take this and move it into our finished, unreleased pile. There we go. Mix, sound, and mastering in just an hour and 15 minutes. But I did go through it quite quick, and it is a very simple song. You know, that's quite helpful. I would love to re-listen to some of these because I can't remember how they go. But I don't want to, get my feelings involved with the mix down and mastering process. You know what I mean? I want to make sure it's just whatever it sounds good, not whatever I want at the time. It's about what sounds good. Okay, yeah, look, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for coming down. I'm gonna go. Time's gonna stop, and I'm gonna be streaming again soon. Anyway, I'm doing Minecraft, and I'm doing Team Takedown Tuesday, and I've got 80 coming over for a DJing challenge as well. So see you then. Bye bye.